Sometimes the irony of trying to write a theme song for a show called This Will Never Work gets the best of you, and, well, it sucks. So, welcome.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to This Will Never Work. I'm Lincoln, and today my guest is, I guess you could break it down to she's an influencer, but I think she's so much more than that. She's a very incredibly positive person.
Thank you.
She's somebody whose work I admire, and I'm very happy to have her here with me today. Please welcome Lexi Winters.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming and doing this.
I'm so excited. That was quite the intro. That was so kind of you. Appreciate it.
Oh my God. I didn't practice that at all. That was all off the top of my head.
Wow, look at that.
So, to some people, influencer's a dirty word. How do you feel about being called like an influencer?
You know what? It's so funny because I still, when people are like, what's your job? I'm like, that's actually such a good question. Like, I don't know. I don't know what my job is because it classifies as so many different things right now. So I always just say like entertainment industry. But honestly, I'm fine when people say that I'm an influencer. Recently, I've met a lot of young professionals in this new building that I just moved into and trying to explain to them that like social media is my job. It comes with those little like, oh, you're an influencer jokes. Like, oh, you don't do anything with your life. Like, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. Like, if that's what your idea wants to be about an influencer, it's all good. But like, you really are like your own marketing team, advertising team. Well, marketing and advertising are the same thing. But you're your own like CFO. Like, you are literally the jack of all trades for yourself. And if you're not working, then like, sorry, sweetie, like you're not making any money, I guess.
100%.
So that part people don't understand, but you only understand that if you're in the industry. So it's like you have respect from people that are in the industry. Outside people, yeah, calling you an influencer, it's like they influence people, like, ugh. But you know what? If that's what you want to call me, I feel like that's what I am.
Totally.
So like, it's fine. I personally have always wanted to be an influencer since I was a little girl. So like, I'll take the title and wear it with honor.
No, and that's good. And I admire that about you. The fact that you are very, that's like another thing that I admire about you is you're very no fucks given.
None.
And that's ultimately, I feel so for me. And the reason why I wanted to have you on the show is I wanted to talk about, you're 21.
Yeah.
And actually, well, and I want to talk about a little bit about your post today too. The body image one.
Okay, I love it.
Because you're 21 and societally, what is presented as let's talk specifically about body image.
Yeah.
Is, stick thin models and Victoria's Secret, blah, 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 all that stuff. And what I like about you is what you're presenting isn't that.
Yeah.
You're like, nope, this is healthy body image. And you aren't going to, I don't know, when it comes to your mental health, like when people are talking shit, calling you overweight or whatever they're saying to you in the comments and stuff like that, are you letting that affect you? Or are you literally just like I don't give a shit because this is like, what you're doing is what should be portrayed in the media.
Yeah. So basically, I'll just touch on the post that I posted today. So today what I posted is for the past about year and a half, actually 2 years ago, I was in a relationship that was very healthy from like what you would consider, but my eating had tanked because I was so stressed out about like keeping hoping that they were like keeping like being obsessed with me. And then it was just like, I was also worried about my job. And then it was just like, everything was trickling down to the fact where like, I just literally simply was not eating. And I've been famous on social media since 2019. So like I've dealt with these comments for a good chunk of time. I have dealt with like you're overweight. So when I first started social media, my healthy set weight is like 132. My entire life I've been 132 and I've always enjoyed food. All kinds of food. Doesn't matter what kind of food it is. I would never feel guilty eating it ever.
No.
But
nor should you.
Right? Nor should anyone, Just work out a little bit. Make sure your body's moving and everything will systematically work and you'll be good to go. But as I was getting all these comments on social media, I was being praised for like how I looked. And I was like, that's so cool. Like, love that people like love what I look like, whatever. And I was really listening to comments. Once I got into this relationship with my ex, again, my image, like I started getting skinnier, and all these comments are just like, oh my God, you're looking like so good, so good, so good. But that was really a mind fuck, because I was like, I know internally I am so hungry, and I am like, I feel like shit. I literally can't think about anything other than food. I'm fucking miserable every second of the day because my body is like, Alexis, you need to eat something. Like, what are we doing here?
Right.
It was crazy. And then, so I finally like woke up out of like my sleep. I broke up with that dude. I just kind of like snapped out of it. And I started gaining a ton of weight now. Now I was just like, my body was like, thank God, like you're feeding us, and now it's clinging to like everything. So now I had been the heaviest I'd ever been in my life. And to go from like skinniest to heaviest you've ever been in your life on social media for hundreds of thousands of people to see that, there is nothing more vulnerable and detrimental, because they don't know what you're going through, but you're getting all the comments of like, you're overweight. I liked you better when you looked like this, and all these just horrific comments. So what I had to do was just like, learn to literally not give a single shit or give any of those comments any value at all. Like I couldn't even enjoy the comments where I was like, Lex, you look good today, because if I let those have power, then I was also giving the ones where it was like, you're fat, ugly, and disgusting. I was giving those power too, because subconsciously you don't understand that like if you're giving a certain kind of connotation, a certain feeling, even if it's negative, your brain's gonna be like, oh, same thing. So it's just like a weird psychological thing. So yeah, that's kind of how that whole thing happened through social media, and kind of why I got an eating disorder. But again, today, to talk about that post, is I posted this picture because for the past little bit now, for the past about month, I've been looking really good. I've been just actually being genuinely really healthy, just like eating well again and just working out, just like being healthy. And I've been getting all this praise again for my body. And so I wanted to make it known for some women who have followed me when I was at my skinniest and who followed me at my heaviest. I wanted them to understand that like, I didn't just look like this for nothing. Like I have been through all this shit, and like I wanted to like talk about it. So I basically put a picture of me a year ago, which was me at what people would look at and be like, oh, she's so beautiful. She's so thin. She's so gorgeous. I was literally 100 pounds. Like that is so fucked up for a woman of my size. Like I'm 5'7". Never in my life have I ever even been 100 pounds. Not when I was a professional dancer and I was like a full-on athlete. I've never been that tiny. And
that's incredibly unhealthy.
Yeah, it's just that's not my body type at all. And
no,
it shouldn't be. And so I posted a picture of me looking like that. And then on the other side, I literally posted a picture of me like a week ago. And I'm 155 pounds right now. And like my brain works great. My body is not pissed at me anymore. I'm not lashing out on all my friends. I'm not irritated by everyone in my life. Like it's so crazy how much we let social media and others' opinions and just like terrible people on the internet who are miserable with their life affect our beautiful life. Because that is literally what those people are. People that do that are just miserable and sad and have nothing going for them. And like we need to remember that. And oh my God, do I have terrible days? Still to this day, I will see a comment and I will be like, fuck, I am the ugliest girl on the earth. And then luckily I have people in my life that I reach out to now and I say like a code word. And they'll just be like, Lex, you're okay. Like, just don't listen to them, you know? So you just also need to set boundaries for yourself, whether that means like you just don't even read the comments. You don't allow comments to happen. That's okay too. Like that's again, also with this industry is like, you have to be cautious of that. And that's something that's going to come with this job is the comments. And if you can't handle that, then like you got to learn to handle it, or you got to turn it off. And again, set that boundary for yourself, because it's fucking crazy out here.
It is. And
like,
yeah, what someone is commenting to you doesn't actually say that much about you as a person or what you are, you know, who you actually are. It says more about them. I know I know that's so fucking cliche, but
right.
it's the truth. It honestly, it has way more to do with them than it has to do with you. And the internet has so many miserable people on it that are just out to cause absolute havoc and ruin other people's lives. And yeah, you're right. When you don't give them power and you don't feed into them, they just move on eventually.
They do.
Some people don't, but some people do move on eventually, and they'll find another target that is going to feed them, which is really sad. But no, I saw that post, and it's another reason or another thing about you that I appreciate is the fact that I feel like for you, being so young and being in this industry, it's like, yeah, okay, we call you an influencer, but I personally feel like there's a lot of influencers out there that are vapid and have absolutely no substance to them.
Right.
Whereas you do. I feel like you're a good role model.
Oh, thank you.
Especially to young women. That is something that especially young women need, is a good role model and somebody that's going to I mean, young men need this too, and they don't have that right now because they have fucking Andrew Tate.
Oh my god!
Which we're not going to talk about that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get
you. No, I feel like you're somebody that is actually a good role model for young women in that regard, to be like, you know what, all body type, and this is speaking specifically just to body image and stuff like that. There's so much more to what you do. But I'm speaking specifically just to the body image thing. Like, I feel like, yeah, you are a good role model in that aspect. And I really hope that anyone who watches this and like anyone that starts like following you and stuff like that really, takes some lessons from that.
Thank you.
You know what I mean? And I hope that's something that you carry on in your career, which I know you will.
Yeah.
But no, again, like, because like I have my that's, and when I say role model, I mean like role model in all of the things that you do.
Thank you.
Because you're unabashedly like no fucks given when it comes to what people say to you. No fucks given in terms of like your sexuality and just like how you present yourself in like, this is me.
Yeah.
Like you're very I find you authentic
online,
which not a lot of people are.
They aren't. And that's like the one thing that gives me the ick about our industry is like just people not being authentic. But I get it. Like characters have to play a character. So it's like, I understand both sides of the sword, but like, if you're going to be a real influencer, like lifestyle influencer, like what I would pretty much categorize myself as is just like showing my life and like showing struggles in my life and trying to make it so that other people don't feel alone, is like, if that's what your lifestyle influencer is going to be and you're going to show that, but you're going to live something completely different behind scenes, like that's just weird. Like to me, it's just like, also one of my best friends is in this industry, and like, never before had I ever found, I thought I had found like good friends through social media, but they ended up just like stabbing me in the back really bad. And it's just like those kind of people, I can't be around. I can't handle that because it's just not me. I'm not that. I can't play on your fake page because that's not what my followers are going to read it and be like, Alexis, what the fuck? Yeah. Like that's not why we follow you. We don't like that. Like, I think my favorite thing is when people are like, we love that you don't use filters. And again, not to hate to anyone that uses filters, but like, I just want it to be okay to have a pimple. Like, why the fuck? Like, you're not going to wake up next to the love of your life with a filter on your face, right? Nope. So why pretend like that's how it's going to actually be? Yeah. Right? So like, I don't know. And I think it's my duty having a platform to make that okay. So that's why I'm trying to do that.
And right fucking there is exactly why I think I just think you're a good person.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm not, and that's the thing. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass because it's like,
I'm like, my God.
No, it's just the God's honest truth. I think
thank you.
Because we were kind of talking about this a little bit before we started rolling, that like, a lot of people are in this just for the numbers and the views, and they will do whatever they can for the clout, and they will do whatever, whether it's like hurting people or pranking people, whatever. Like, it's fucking awful. Some of the shit people will do to get views and get people's attention because they're so fucking attention starved.
They're so attention starved. It's crazy. And those kind of people take it to like another level of like, good publicity and bad publicity doesn't matter. It's publicity. Like those are the kind of people that take it like a step too far, you know? Like the whole David Dobrik thing where he like almost made Jeff like lose his eyeball. Like it's stuff like that.
I don't even know anything about that, but
okay, so they did this like extreme stunt to just get a bunch of like views, and it ended up being in that like they were swinging on the edge of a fucking forklift, and then
yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
Jeff, like, his eye pretty much was gone, and now they're in like a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. So it's just like, okay, maybe you made millions of dollars off of that video, but like now you're not friends with someone who you were friends with. And I don't know, it's just like some people cross boundaries when it comes to content. And like you said, that's also why I like your content, because I've like watched your podcast and I love the conversations you have, and it feels very real as well. And like to be the whole like you're just a good person thing, like that's why I like to work with people like you, is because you just get good vibes that you are a good person, and this isn't all just like a hoax of like, come to sit in my podcast and let's talk about some shit that actually means nothing, and then leave and like blast it all over social media, and then let's never talk again, you know? So it's just like, I've had my fair share of those experiences, and you need to learn those lessons, so it will happen, and like it's the fucking worst, but yeah, putting your name on something is so important, and it's important to like know who you're doing that with.
Oh, 100%.
You know, so that's why.
That is a good point. That is a good point right there. Is just the attaching your name to something.
Yeah.
That you. Yeah. Fuck. I can't even imagine the amount of people like and. Do you have people like pitch you ideas all the time? I mean,
all the fucking time.
And you have to like sift through it, and you're like, okay, like people are their own worst critic, but they're also like, some people don't know how to like filter something down to an actual good idea.
Yeah. And
so sometimes, yeah, you'll get pitched something that's like, whoa, that is way out there, and like how the fuck did you get to that idea? And second of all, it's like, who is gonna think can you tell me like the craziest thing that's been pitched to you before?
So one thing that I think is hilarious is I have always wanted to be an influencer or like a YouTuber since I was like a little girl. I had a YouTube channel when I was 13, and I got bullied to fuck for it, so I stopped it. But you know what? I wasn't ready at that point in my life because we got the chance later in college. So it wasn't the time. However, I started again in college. Again, still people were bullying me. They're like, who's this fucking loser? What does she think she's doing? But now it is my full-time job, and I literally own a business for it. And so those same people that bullied me and thought I was a little loser with just like this stupid idea, they have businesses now that they want promotion for.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. And so they reach out to me all the time, and they're like, Lexi, like, I hope you're doing good. Like, and I'm like, yeah, I hope you're doing good, babe. I hope your business venture goes really good. I won't be helping you, but good luck with that. Yeah. So that's like one of the main things that is just crazy. Oh, the wildest pitch that someone's given me. Honestly, I don't even know. It's just, I think like the wildest things would be for people when they just have okay, we'll talk about like when people have reached out to me for OF. So I have made
which is something we're going to talk about as well. But
we'll
go on.
Talk about later. But with my OF, like girls that have not a single follower on their page or haven't even started posting or anything will pitch to me and be like, let's do a collab, let's do this. And I'm like, so you just want free subscribers that like, I don't even know if you're trustworthy. Like, I don't even know if you're going to continue to post in like a month. And these subscribers have been with me for months. Like, I'm not just going to like hand them over to you. So it's not really people like, it's more people pitching their ideas to me, and then they want me to like help them start it, or they want to like me to jump start them. And I'm like, no one jump started me. Like, no one jump started me to where I am right now. It was strictly just hard work and like having to sacrifice like and make different decisions.
Right.
You know? But it's crazy. Is there anybody that's like, what's the craziest pitch that you've been given? Or is there anyone who's like, you're like, that was a weird guess for the podcast, like that didn't actually come on, but like had tried to?
For me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyone?
Weird. I rarely get asked questions on this podcast. I'm usually the one asking. I mean, I have one friend who like, well, actually I have a few friends.
Yeah.
Because they know that that I have the ability to film stuff.
Yeah.
They'll just throw out like random crazy. Because I mean, when we were in high school, which was now a million years ago, and oh my god, I feel so old all the time. But like, yeah, when like a million years ago when I was in high school, we used to before we were like 18, we would do shit that like probably would get us arrested now.
Yeah.
But I mean, like literally, like
Yeah.
like shooting fireworks at each other, and like yeah, there was one time we took Roman candles and like we were shooting them at each other. Like, oh, it was wild.
You guys are hilarious.
I had this 91 Honda Civic. That was my first car.
Yeah.
We put that car through hell. We would take it and like I jumped it over like railroad tracks once. Like we would just like drive really fast and like run over shit. I mean, like just stupid. And we filmed all of it, right? Like, so it's like, it was one of the,
original Jackass.
Well, that's not even that. I mean, Jackass was already on the air, so it's like,
fair.
I'm not that old. Good Lord. Oh my God.
Sorry, I
those
did not
dudes are
mean
like,
to age you.
oh
I'm
my
sorry.
God, that sucks. I'm usually talking to people that are like my age or older.
I don't know.
Talking
To
to
be honest, I have no idea when Jackass started. Okay.
Oh my God. Okay. To put it in perspective for the audience, you were born the same year 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
Not to make a joke of it, but like literally, you were born in 2000 and what?
Oh no, 2000. I was one when I actually wasn't even 1 year old when September when it happened. I was a fetus. I was a little baby born.
You were born in the millennium.
Didn't have. Yeah, I'm a millennial baby.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I remember. Like 99 ticking over to the year 2000.
Yeah.
I was born in 88, so I was like 12, about to turn 13. And I mean, like, yeah, and it was so funny. I was thinking about this earlier today because I was like, God damn, she's fucking 21. And I'm like, so I'm putting that in perspective in my head on like the age gap between us. I'm like, I was 13 when she was born. And I'm like, fuck, I remember being 13. I was like, that was when I failed grade 8. Fuck.
You're so funny.
Shit like that.
Fucking right. A legend.
Yeah.
Love it.
So what was I talking about?
We're talking about filming. You and your friends were filming the wildest shit you've ever done.
Yeah. So we we did stupid shit like that. We would take, and I'm not going to tell the kids at home how, but we would take fireworks and like turn them into essentially sticks of dynamite. Then one time we like my one friend like wrapped them around this like garden gnome in like duct tape, and then like we took it out. Oh yeah, we took it out to the ponds. I have it on video somewhere. And it like let it go, and we were like waiting, and you could hear us on camera, and we're like, what the fuck? Like, it's just not going to go off. And as we're about to like walk back over to be like, what the fuck? It just goes boom. And it was like all these like Roman candle thing. Oh yeah, it was, shit like that.
That's crazy. That's so fun. So do they still want you to like film like, or now is it like their weddings they want you to film, or like this like random photo shoot kind of stuff?
No. It's still like stupid shit. They still want me to film stupid shit, but I'm just like, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm too old for some of that stuff. But like I had, yeah, I don't do weddings at all.
No, fair enough.
I refuse to do weddings. I had a friends, because I grew up in a small town. I had friends.
Me
from
too.
What town?
I know you're from Alberta. From like, what is it called? Don't tell me. Fuck. I was listening to it in the podcast this morning.
Crossfield.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Cochrane, but Cochrane isn't small. I'm from BC, a little tiny town in Trail, BC.
Oh, I knew that. Oh, I did know that because you go out there every summer, right?
Yeah, super tiny little.
I've been to Trail.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Or I've driven through Trail at least.
Okay.
Trail's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so I had friends reach out to be like, hey, can you, they were like, can you film my wedding? And I was like, honestly, I'm really sorry. I don't do weddings.
Yeah. You're like,
and then the response to that was like, well, we'll pay you. And I was like, yeah, that wasn't the issue from the beginning. It had nothing. You were going to pay me regardless, but the issue is I don't do weddings.
Yeah. You're like, sorry, but no. I know, wedding photography. That's like, if you're a photographer, or like a videographer, or like director, whatever, doesn't matter. Like, that's where your career goes to die. Unless you're like the wedding photographer or videographer, then like, do you, baby boo? But like, I've just heard of that being like where your career goes to like, just being done.
I know a couple. I know a couple that people that do wedding photography, and they're fantastic. They're so good at it, and I wouldn't consider that like that's where their career's gone to die, because that's they're passionate about it.
Yeah.
Whereas
which is awesome.
if I went to go do it, that's where my career would go to die, because I'm not fucking passionate about it.
Yeah.
I would hate it. I would hate every minute of it.
You're like, this is not the vibe.
No, fuck no. No. Weddings are, and that's the thing, like when my wife and I got married, our wedding was super lax. We had a brunch wedding.
I love that.
Yeah, at the hotel. So we had it. It started at like 11. We did the ceremony. You know how most weddings are like ceremony, and then there's a huge break before like dinner, and then a dance and all that stuff.
Yeah, that like weird in between spot. Yeah.
So we literally we specifically staged it. Everybody was already at the tables in the banquet hall.
Love it.
There was the stage setup. We didn't have, did we have, we did have a wedding party. Yeah. So I had 2 friends, she had 2 friends.
Yeah.
And then we, said our vows, said I do. And then as soon as that part was done, it was like, cool, everybody eat. And they like opened the thing at the back of the banquet hall. They're like, here's the breakfast buffet with like the brunch buffet with all this shit. And then we had like an ice cream bar. It was awesome. We had all these like just games. We had beer pong. We had an open bar, which was awesome. So it was just like everybody get day drunk, whatever.
That's perfect.
And we had giant Jenga that I made, which was awesome. Out of like 2x4s. It was awesome. It was a great day.
Yeah.
And I still have people tell me that like our wedding is like something they tell people about, because it was just like the most like relaxed, fun thing.
Literally sounds like so much fun.
It was so much fun. I don't drink. I'm not a big drinker at all. Never have been.
Do you smoke pot?
No,
Nothing,
I don't.
hey?
No,
Look
actually,
at you go.
I used to. I got really bad panic attacks when I would smoke pot. So I don't smoke pot.
That. Don't do that anymore.
No. I smoked cigarettes for 15 or 16 years.
Good for you for quitting all that.
Yeah, January of 21, I quit cold turkey.
Wow, good for
So
fucking
I've been
you.
I haven't had cigarettes in over a year and a half now.
That's a huge one.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the app on my phone to tell you how long, but it's like at a certain point, you just forget about it, and like it's actually incredible.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
So yeah, I don't really have any. Well, my vice, sugar's my vice.
It.
I mean, look at me, good. I fucking love sugar, but
Me too. It's the best.
Yeah, along with our wedding day. Mm-hmm. So I'm a big Back to the Future fan, which I'm sure you can guess.
Yeah.
So we're doing the wedding, and then at a certain point we had to leave to go do, because you have to leave to go do photos.
Right.
But we're like, we're just going to bounce out for like an hour. We'll be back. Everybody's like, yeah, fuck, we don't care. Like we're already like drinking, eating, we're having fun.
Hanging out, dancing.
Like they don't care.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Because we structured it the right way.
Yeah.
So we leave, we go to this park nearby to go do the photos. And as we're pulling into the parking lot, I see in the parking lot, there's this DeLorean parked there.
Okay.
Or the DeLorean, like from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
And it's like one of my favorite cars. And I'm like, oh, you guys, look, there's a fucking DeLorean here. And like I could see like everybody was kind of like, oh yeah. And I was like, that's so fucking awesome. And like everybody's kind of like, mm-hmm. And I'm like, wait, what? And my wife's just like, yeah, it's a DeLorean. And I'm like, what did you do? Oh. She asked this guy who owned one to come specifically to the park so we could take photos with it. So our wedding photos, our wedding photos are us in a DeLorean, which was so cool. And then he took me for a rip in it. And it was
fucking right.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was
what
such
a good wife.
Oh yeah,
it's Krista, right?
Krista,
go Krista, go. You're the shit. Oh yeah.
You'll get to meet her at the end. Yeah.
Okay, yay.
Yeah, she's amazing.
What a legend.
Oh yeah.
That's so cute.
And that's kind of how we run our marriage too. Is just like super
lax.
Well, just like low key. Like we're not super, very easygoing people. And you meet a lot of people that are like super, like their wedding day has to be like perfect. And it's like, I get it. For some people, it's the like the only thing they have to look forward to in their life or whatever.
Right.
And it is what it is. So they want it to be perfect. But, I think there's a lot more to life than just like a one-day party and
I agree.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
100% there is.
That is why I don't do wedding videography or photography because you have one shot to get it. And if you fuck it up, you've now ruined that person's day. And I don't ever want to be a contributing factor in that.
Shit, I never thought of that.
Yep.
I never thought of that aspect. Because, yeah, some people just, like, you don't photograph well. Like, that is just sometimes how it is. It doesn't mean you're ugly. Like, that doesn't mean that. It just means, like, you, for 5 seconds, you just can't take the picture, and that's okay. Like,
and it's funny that you say you never considered that because I feel like there are people in that industry that don't consider that, and they're like, oh yeah, I can totally shoot a wedding, and then they're not capable of shooting a wedding properly or like making it look nice, and then afterwards it's like, what did you think you were? I mean. That's kind of like one of the worst like trials by fire you could probably put yourself in is like a situation where you literally have one chance to get it. I feel, you know how like tattooing is apprentice based.
Yeah.
I feel like in that industry it should be, I mean, obviously anybody can start a photography business if they want, but I feel like somebody who's actually going to take it seriously. This goes back to the whole thing you were talking about at the beginning is like looking at someone who's going to take what they're doing serious and what they're striving to be seriously. I think it would be very apropos to like reach out to other like established people in that industry and say, hey, can I like essentially intern under, like, can I tag along to a wedding and just kind of like watch what you do? And like, you know what, I'll snap some photos because
I want to practice.
You have the opportunity to practice. You're not going to get paid to do it. That's fine. Yeah. But at least you would have the ability to, you know, cut your teeth a little bit and see where you're making mistakes.
Yes.
Be able to rectify those mistakes, but also you can learn from somebody who's already learned from their own mistakes.
Yep.
You know, that kind of like
no, 100%.
There's so many industries like that, and this goes back to what I was saying before with you being a leader and a role model in your position. I do feel like, you know, when it comes to like the people that are reaching out, they're like, oh, hey, like we want to work with you. And like, they want you to kickstart them. You're absolutely going to be like, well, no, like it's on you to kickstart what you're doing. However, if somebody was to come to you and be like, hey, I want to learn from you and I want to, you know, I want to actually gain knowledge from what you're doing and apply that to what I'm doing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, you're not going to turn that person down. You're going to be like, absolutely. Like, let's talk, kid.
Absolutely. And that's like one of the things that you were even just saying about like, that is so true. And it's also my first getting into the modeling industry. I never really was into the modeling industry because I'm 5'7", and I was always told that like 5'7" isn't tall enough, which like, yes, it fucking is. Don't listen to people when they say stupid shit to you like that, like in one ear out the other. But I had always been like, oh, like I need to get into modeling. I just don't know how. And so I used to always think that like the first modeling gig I'll ever get is Victoria's Secret. That is not how it fucking works. That it will never, if that is how you think your career will pop off, babe, I'm sorry to break your heart, but like, no, it is not going to work like that. Because I had to break my own damn heart. I was like, what the fuck? It does not work out like this. Like, what do you mean? But basically.
Oh, I've broken my heart many times. Right? I break my own heart all the time.
Yeah, it's so tragic.
Yep.
Fuck. But I literally, last year around September, October, I was like, fuck it. I need to change my life. And manifestation, a lot of people think it's just like in your head. No, it is. It is. Let's say you're living a 9-to-5 and your dream job is modeling, then you better figure out how the fuck you're going to start doing modeling while you're still doing that 9-to-5. Because if you're not combining the two, like you're always going to be in the 9-to-5 with the dream of modeling. You need to start combining them so one can take off. So that's what I did. I was in my 9-to-5. And I was like, I need to get into the modeling industry like what the fuck am I going to do?
Can you tell me what your 9 to 5 was?
In my 9 to 5, so I went to school for travel and tourism, but in the business sector. So I basically was learning all business courses, but just very, very specified into travel because I am obsessed with travel. I wanted to be a private flight attendant, or I wanted to like work for like Air Canada or WestJet doing like their like flight attending. I just wanted to fly around the world for free, basically.
You're better off not working for them. I worked for WestJet for 11 years.
You did. Was that terrible?
Oh, it was awful.
Fuck. Hey?
I don't need to talk.
We don't need. Yeah.
Well, I don't need to talk shit about them any more than I already have. But yeah,
Fair.
It ended very poorly, and yeah, it was
I'm so
awful.
sorry.
No, it's fine.
No, but yeah, fuck. Like, frig the big organizations. Work for yourself if you goddamn can. So, yeah, at the job I was in, I was basically managing $250,000 worth of client travel spend, and I was doing their sales, I was doing their marketing, I was doing their client-facing shit. And they were paying me $13 an hour, okay?
Fuck off.
Yeah. I was fresh out of college. I've always had this like crazy work ethic where I'm like excited to work. And like if I'm putting my shit into it, I'm putting my shit into it. Like I'm doing it. I'm beating it dead in the face until there's nothing left to it. And yeah, my boss was just... It was just so fucked up. My mental health was just terrible. So I was like, if I don't start my social media, like if I don't take the following I have right now and figure out how to monetize this, it will never, ever, ever happen for me. And so I basically was just like, okay, all of a sudden people were just like reaching out to me with like modeling gigs, but they were all non-paid. And I was like, hey, fuck, like I gotta do this. Like I have no modeling experience. How do I expect to get paid if I don't even know how to stand in front of a camera? Yeah, I've done photo shoots with my friends, but that is nowhere near the same thing at all.
No, it's not.
And so I was like, okay, I'm going to put myself out there. This is terrifying. I went to a shoot that started at around 8 p.m. So I literally like got right home from the office, and it went until literally 7:30 in the morning the next day.
Holy shit.
I dead ass had to be at the office at 8 a.m. and I went and did that. And that first experience got me so many paid jobs to this day. And like, I would rather have a sleepless night doing something I dreamed doing and then having to go fucking be miserable to try to pay the bills that weren't even paying the bills than do something that was just me sitting in my office job every day and then partying to like drown the pain or like all this shit. Cause I knew I had to try an office job for me to know 100% that that's not what I want to do. Cause I always knew I wanted to work for myself. Like when people ask you like, what do you want to be when you're younger? Like I never knew. I never, ever, ever had like something I wanted to answer with other than like, I always knew I wanted to be in front of a camera or modeling or like something in the entertainment industry. That's all I ever knew. But like that was not attainable where I lived. So yeah, literally in September, I just really started like forcing myself to take myself seriously. I was like, no, if you want this to be your job, like you're going to have to start acting like it. And then that's also when I started my OnlyFans because I was so fucking broke. I literally could not even afford my rent. And I was working every single day, 8+ hours. Like, and I would buy nothing. I was literally living off of $2,000 a month. Like it was unfathomable. I couldn't even believe it. And I was so miserable. I was just like, I have to get out of this situation. So I started my OF because I've always had this like very sexual side to me. And for OnlyFans, like it's not only about sexual content. Like a lot of people are on there doing like shit that they want to post on YouTube, but they're so sick and tired of not making actual money. They'll post it on there. Yeah. People also do like makeup content. Like there's so many different things, but during the pandemic is when OF like took off for like the sexual content because that was just like when I don't know, that's like. Well,
there was an influx of people that weren't working and they were able to take advantage of the fact that they're able to market and sell themselves essentially, which is awesome. But
100%. And so the one thing that I love about OF is it's given me the financial freedom to do whatever I want. So like a lot of girls on there, they'll do like porn, all that kind of stuff. I don't do porn. Like I'm not like full blown like doing that kind of stuff. It's just very, very provocative videos, which is like so my body type, the way that I've looked since I think I hit puberty when I was 15, but I've always had like men looking at me since I was about like 13. When I was 15, it was like I all of a sudden had these like breasts that I've never, ever, ever had before. And so everybody in my high school was calling me a little whore, a little dirty slut. I was a full-on virgin. Like it was just because the way my body looked. Yeah, like I was a full-on virgin. And like I wasn't like that crazy girl who was like a little sexual active. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. That was just not me in high school. But I had this like label for no reason just because of the way I looked. And so I've always been shy and like ashamed of my body in a way. But starting my OF, literally, it didn't force me to feel comfortable with my body, but it was just like, it was almost like me taking my power back. I was like, I already know all of these people when I first started social media in 2019 thought I was a P-star. Like, they literally were like, Lana the Plug. Like, they were calling me like all of these crazy, they're like, Lana Rhodes, is that you? Like, all of these like porn star names, and I wasn't even anywhere in that category. So it's like, again, I've just always had this like connotation around me that I was like, I'm gonna profit off of this.
As you should.
Yeah. So I just saw it as being a businesswoman. I just saw the fucking profit that I was not making. And I could probably have $1 million right now if I started 3 years ago. And I'm not trying to say that to like be like,
nope.
Social media and like OnlyFans is like a great thing to do. Like, let me tell you, you need to have a fucking strong backbone. You need to understand what you're doing and the repercussions of what OnlyFans is. But I do. My family knows I do it.
Yep.
I understand the repercussions, but I love it. Like, it allows me to travel 4 times a month. It allows me to have the lifestyle I have. It allows me to also feel confident in my body and have the control of my body in my own hands.
Yes.
Instead of it being like all these men looking at me and me trying to have this like cutesy, like, don't look at me like that idea when I know that's all they're looking at me for, you know? So it's like, but then again, if you know me as a person, that's not all there is to me. So that's why I'm like, I'm fine with some people assuming whatever they want. Because until you're on the page, until you know me as a person, again, I don't give a shit what your opinion is. If anything, you're just giving me money, and I appreciate you for that.
100%.
You know, so
no, and that is exactly that's one thing I like about the OnlyFans platform itself is the fact that it affords you the ability to take that power and market yourself and sell yourself however you see fit doing that. Right. Because you're right. It's not like they tried to shut down all of the nude stuff and the porn stuff. They did try to shut that down. And I'm glad they got, their hands slapped, because it's like literally their entire platform was built off the backs of sex workers. Yeah. And they needed that wake up call, which was good. Yeah. But because that's just it. If they had shut it down, okay, well, you just find it. Everyone would have found a different avenue, and it would have been like that's why Fansly started. That's why
exactly.
So I do like the platform for that. I personally think they need to put more money into the UI, like the user interface and stuff, because I've looked at it a little bit and stuff like that, and like I know for a fact, like I see like on Instagram people that do like OF and stuff like that, they're like, oh, messaging is down there if you need to message me, like whatever, like it's constantly going down. I have another friend right now who's having she can't upload like videos to the platform right now, and she's from her phone or whatever, like she can't upload, and I'm like, well, that's
a problem.
Yeah, so she was reaching out to like ask or she had posted like in her story something like if anybody could like help or whatever, and I was like so I just like I like to be technical support.
I love it. Yeah.
But
because that's your background too, is tech, right?
Yeah, in a lot of ways, for sure. I like the fact that it takes it out of the hands of like, you're not left feeling like, oh fuck, the only way I'm going to make money is if I become a porn star. Well, that's not what you're trying to do with your life. Yeah. You have the ability to sell yourself on a platform with whatever you want to show. Yeah. And market that to your audience while also having your job on top of that you're not going to, because you're not going to fire yourself from like working for yourself. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, it's good in that regard. The thing that really bums me out about that aspect of like people's sexuality and stuff is like, we're all human. Okay. Oh, I know you know exactly where this is going.
I'm so excited to hear this.
We are all human. We're all sexual creatures. We all masturbate. We all have sex. Yep. We all of these things. But it is so vilified in society. Like, it is something that is so looked down upon. It is something that is so just absolutely shit on by people that feel that they're holier than thou or what they just don't identify with it or whatever.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
This is another reason why I feel like it goes back to the whole role model thing I'm talking about when it comes to you, because you embrace that side of yourself. You are very much like, no, these two things can coexist. I'm a good person. I am a contributing member of society. I'm not like hearing you say that, like when you were in high school and like you're going through puberty and you're doing all that, and your body is literally doing what it naturally is going to do as a growing person, and you're being labeled as a whore, a slut, or whatever. That's fucking that tears my fucking heart out, because that's not fair to you.
No.
You have no control. It's not like you're fucking 15 years old and you're going and getting a boob job.
Exactly.
Like to enhance your features. That's so fucking unfair.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because kids are just inherently mean.
They are inherently,
because they don't and I know this because I was a kid once. We don't understand. We don't always understand how to treat each other when we're growing up and when we're that young, and that's why this shit is so important to be teaching kids how to fucking treat each other at such a young age, because there's no fucking reason why you or any other, young woman, young man, whatever, young trans kid, some kid that doesn't have, like, non-binary, whatever, doesn't need to feel like they're weird or like they're having a label forced upon them that they're not in control of.
100%. And like, I absolutely adore everything you've just said. It's like, it's so crazy to me. I personally think that if you're a human who thinks that sex is a bad thing, I'm scared of you. You're a weirdo to me. Like, and that's just my opinion, because if you are so okay to like neglect something that is so beautiful and so natural, then that is really strange to me. It just really is. A lot of people also think that like sex workers are like people that are like around like cocaine all the time or like partying all the time, have like multiple men. And like, if you're a man, then you have like all these like dirty porn star whores around you. Or like, if you're a girl, then you have all these like dicks around you and shit. And it's like, no, that is so far from what that is movies. That is movies, and that's people's imaginations, and that's porn. That's your image. That's literal porn. Like, and porn, like, especially Pornhub. Fantasy. It is, exactly. It's all a fantasy. And especially like Pornhub, that's why I like, that's a whole different thing, and that's really scary, where it's like OF. I love OF because it's a way for women to choose what they want to post. It's the person that's posting, they're posting it because they want to. Most of the time, if you're a sex worker from the street, it could be like your pimp, but that's a whole different story. However, even then, it gives sex workers who are homeless a way safer avenue anyways. But I think my passion project in life, which I hope to God when I'm older and more educated in like actual like sexual terms, will be, I think that, you know how in high school we learn like our digestive system and we learn all of this shit.
Yes.
Why the fuck do we never learn how our actual bodies work and like how our sexual organs work? That is like the number one reason we're alive. Like, that is what makes us male and female or non-binary. It doesn't matter what your parts are. That's okay. Doesn't mean you have to have like female parts. It's just like, that's our biology. That's like parts of our body we can't completely change. Like, that's what we're born with. You can change if that's what you feel resides with you, and that's amazing. But I'm just saying, for like myself, like, I have womanly parts, and so but when I was younger, like, sex ed is not sex ed. Sex ed is, this is a condom, this is how you put a condom on a banana, and this is what will happen to you, this is how you use a tampon and a pad. Why is it not every year of high school I'm learning about, okay, this is exactly why I'm bleeding? And sure, you don't need to put the men in the women's class, then that's fine. Whoever wants to learn about whatever body part, especially in this day and age with how many non-binary and how many people go fluid with genders and so on, you should be able to choose what class you want to be a part of if you're a child.
I agree. I also,
You know?
I think it's very important that men learn this stuff, though.
I agree. And I hope anyways nowadays that young boys are being okay with that, because I know for damn fucking sure when I have little boys, they're going to know exactly how it works, and they're going to be so excited about having to help someone if they see them with an accident. Like, they're going to know exactly what to do, and they're not going to make fun of her. They're going to fucking help her.
And they're not going to treat it like it's gross.
Exactly. They're not going to treat it like it's gross, because it's not. We can't help it. It's just part of our bodies. But yeah, I basically my passion project, and I don't care to make money from it. I just hope that one day down the line, I can be educated enough, or maybe it's not even me that does the speaking.
Sexual
it's me.
advocacy.
Yeah. Who just organizes the sexual health speakers. But that's why there's fucking herpes, and that's why there's chlamydia, and that's why there's gonorrhea and all this shit that goes around continuously, because we're not taught to see the signs. We're not taught. And when it is talked about, it's such a taboo thing. It's okay, but it wouldn't be taboo, and we wouldn't even have these things if we openly talked about them. And I don't know. It's again, everything in moderation, and there's obviously we shouldn't normalize whorehouses and shit like that, okay? That's not what I'm saying, but we should normalize sex being okay. And I'm really lucky that I grew up in a relationship and a family with my parents where my parents were open about sex. Not that it was they were excited for me to do it. It was just this is the safe way to do things, and it was always just a very open conversation, and I think it's important. I think it's detrimental to people's health, because even if we look at kids who have been assaulted when they were younger, okay, that affects them detrimentally for the rest of their fucking life. How do you think that hiding sex and pretending for it to be such a bad thing, if you're a sexually active person, what's that doing to our psyche? You're taking away your natural instincts. And if we're just safer about it, I feel people will just be happier. It's okay to enjoy having sex, and it's okay to not enjoy having it. That's fine too. Let's just stop being so this is wrong with you and that's wrong with you. No, there's nothing wrong with anyone. Let's all just chill, okay? Shit. Oh my God.
It really shouldn't be a taboo subject. And I grew up religious, so
yeah. Sorry.
No, that's okay. For me, it was something that was within Christianity, sex before marriage was something that not even frowned upon. It's just you can't do that.
Yeah.
So and then when you're so I mean that was when I was a teenager going into puberty and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So your body's going through all this stuff, and you're dealing with all these changing things and all these hormonal feelings you're having, and these attractions to people and all this stuff. You're dealing with all of that, and then on top of it, I had all this religious guilt on top. So it's just I had to deal with that for a long time, where it was just this is so I lost my virginity when I was 17.
Okay, yeah.
And it was awful.
Oh no.
And not because it was awful mentally.
Yeah, because of the guilt of everything.
Sorry.
No, you're okay.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, because dealing with all of the guilt of it, and feeling I let myself down, I let just all this stupid shit.
Yeah.
And it's years later, I use this podcast as a therapy session for myself.
I love it.
I don't think I've ever actually said that out loud.
Aw, thank you for sharing.
Thank you. But no, it was very difficult, and it was very it was a hard thing to deal with. And I felt bad for her, because it wasn't her first time, but it was just I got really awkward and wasn't able to. It was we had been drinking, and it just kind of fooling around. It just kind of happened, and then it just I think it was a New Year's party, or it was some party at someone's house, and whatever. And then it was the next morning was the most awkward thing in the world. And it was I felt so bad, because this girl was super into me. And for me, I didn't know how to navigate what I was feeling. And it just it just turned into this awful, stupid thing that it didn't need to be.
Totally.
So.
Not at all.
And it's funny. I look back at that kind of thing in my life, and I I wish I could go back knowing what I know now, and not, I don't think I would change anything, but I think I would be able to, I guess I would change things. Like I'd be able, I would be able to handle certain situations, I guess, with a lot more tact. And I guess just,
right.
You know, but I guess that's part of growing up, is learning the lessons of blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so for me, sex was not something that we really talked about in our, I don't know how deep I'm going to go into this, but like it because there's a long line of abuse down the chain. Sorry. Oh, it's fine. And it's and I mean like through like extended family and like just kind of down the chain. So it's like one of those like like vicious circle things that keeps happening in every iteration of the family. And I have spent that's one of those things that I've spent my life, you know, especially my adult life, working towards making sure that that those cycles are not repeated, and that, cause it's affected. It's weird. I've never really talked about this on a public forum before. No, it's okay. It's shit that's like really affected large parts of our family, and it's taken a long time for people to heal and get to a point where they can feel okay. But also, it's like you said, that kind of stuff stays with a person their entire life. So that is exactly like everything that you were saying about it not being like a dirty little secret, or like keeping it from your children. That's it is detrimental. It's so fucking detrimental. And we're not gonna have kids, but like if we were, same way. I like operate it the same way, where it's not something that's hidden and dirty and kept from kids growing up, because ultimately that is where your kid, whether you like it or not, unless they're asexual, fine. Yeah. That's where they're going to land. They are going to have urges. They're going to be attracted to people, men, women, non-binary, whatever. Yeah. They are going to be attracted to people. And it is your duty as a parent to prepare your child for being able to handle that in an appropriate manner. And also not... Well, just be able to handle it in a way that's beneficial to both sides, where there's consent on both sides. And I mean, this is why we have so much rampant fucking sexual abuse and sexual harassment and all this shit in our society, is because it's just like, because it wasn't presented in a way that was healthy for so fucking long. And what I get really fucked up over is the fact that, I mean, call them conservatives or whatever. You have people that are trying to preserve, you know, traditional morals and stuff like that, or whatever. That's fine. Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? There are certain aspects of people's political views, their religious views, or whatever, that are so backwards and hurtful to people that shit needs to be stomped out. Yeah. And that it needs to be rectified in a big way, where, you know, I agree. You know, like exactly what you're talking about, the sexual advocacy for like, and I mean, as a non-trans person, and as a person that's like, you know, trying to be the best ally that you can be, I find it hurtful when you see these fucking posts on Facebook, or these groups where they're just like posting about, because like Pride just happened. We just went through Pride again because it's September. Yeah. And you see these posts where these moms, dads, whatever, they're just like, I can't believe they're trying to indoctrinate our children into, you know, like, and they're exposing them to these trans people and whatever. Like, it's like you have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
No idea.
I saw a friend of mine posted a video that I on her Instagram stories this morning that I kind of saw, and it was a trans person that was talking about how I very briefly watched it, but basically the point of what they were trying to say was, they're like, a man who is going to attack a woman in a, like, let's say a woman's bathroom, they're not gonna go through the entire process of like becoming a trans person, going through all of that, just to gain access to the women's washroom to attack another woman.
Yeah. A
man that is going to fucking do that is just gonna like go, you know what I mean? Like, it's, and it's true. It's just one of those things where it's like, like that person isn't transitioning as an attack on anyone else. It has nothing to do with your small-minded bullshit. It has nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
It has nothing to do with you.
No.
But people take such offense to the fact that another person is wanting to change their gender or change something about themselves because they don't feel like they are truly at home in their my last guest called it a flesh suit. They're not at home in their flesh suit, so they want to, you know, change some aspects about it so that they can feel more comfortable just walking around. And I fucking can't stand people that get way too wrapped up in what somebody else is doing.
It's just like, why do you give a shit? And it's also, it comes down to them. It's just like, you're obviously just not a good person because like you're not thinking about them and why they're transitioning and maybe what they've had to go through mentally to even get the courage to fucking try to potentially change and be the person they want to be.
Totally.
Like, you're obviously just not. You're just a shitty fucking person. Like,
well, it's short-sightedness at its best.
It is. And it's also like, you can pull the whole like uneducation card. Like, okay, you can only pull that so many fucking times until it's just, you actually are just a shitty person. Like the uneducated, like, it doesn't matter. It's the same people who use the N-word and say like, well, they're racist to white people all the time. It's like, okay, but we literally stole land. Okay. We stole resources. Like, we're here because we're thieves. Like, it's just like, where's your respect? And like, where is it that you're like, where's your good human side to you? Like, you know,
the point of what the amount of people that are like goddamn liberals and everything that they're trying to, you know, take away, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, nobody's trying to take away anything from anyone.
No.
The only thing I had another. You get that all the time where people are like they're just trying to divide us, and like people trying to divide. No one's they're trying to divide me. No one's trying to divide anybody. It's all about rectifying the sins of our forefathers, because ultimately you had nothing to do with it.
No.
I had nothing to do with it. But you know what? Unfortunately, we're here. And unfortunately, who's got to pay for the fact that like somebody here before us essentially stole this land from the people that were here. You know what I mean? Like who's got to theoretically pay for that? It doesn't mean that like suddenly we're going to, you know, doesn't mean that like the house you live in is like suddenly going to go to somebody else or whatever. That's what people don't understand. It's just like, no, it's like let's make amends and actually try to like rectify some of these relationships, because I mean, realistically, like Indigenous people in Canada, especially, I mean, historically have had an absolute awful time existing in this country, let alone, you know, just trying to make things better for themselves. Like they're still like Not even getting into the whole fucking like fresh water thing.
Oh my God. Like that, I just can't even fathom it. Like it just doesn't even make sense to me, like at all. Like,
well, because how many times has it been
fucked?
Well, how many times has it been promised by politicians where they're like, "Oh, by this time, if you
Right.
vote me in, they're gonna have fresh running water." Well, it still hasn't happened.
I know.
And ultimately, do you know what it takes? Money. It just
Mm-hmm.
takes money. Who doesn't want to spend money on things that actually matter?
Yeah.
Politicians, the government,
Yeah.
because they only want to put it in their pockets.
Exactly. Because I think people forget that like the government is a business. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think people constantly, and we're all their employees. Like
Which is fucked because they work for us.
Exactly,
But they treat it
right?
like we work for them. And I hate that.
Yep, it's so fucked up.
It is super fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't want to go down the whole
Yeah, the
like
whole
government.
political-
Yeah, I
yeah.
don't want to get super political.
But yeah, no, it's just I don't know. There's just so much like there's just not enough kindness in the world. And one thing I hate is like how sensitive everyone is. It's awesome. Like, and I don't
How dare you say that?
right? But it's just like honestly, even having my job as like an influencer, like sometimes I'm just even scared to say my opinion on like the color, like a fruit.
Oh
Like,
God.
You know,
I know
because
exactly what you mean.
you know, like I'm just like scared that it's gonna somehow end up in like a race battle and like someone's gonna call me a racist for me not even doing anything. And it's just like I also think that in order for us to kind of steer away from like whole like cancel culture and that kind of thing, it has to be that we need to have not lenience, because lenience should not be a thing, but like to not crucify the shit out of someone if they say something wrong one time, or like if they don't understand, like if they accidentally call you like the wrong pronoun. Like I love how I see some videos on the internet that are like, oh, like sorry, but like no, that's not that, like this is this. And it's like I think that those people are fucking killing it, because those people are actually making a positive change in people that are very stubborn and that aren't wanting to change. Because
Well, they're still showing empathy in a world that's not being empathetic to them.
exactly, because like that is so beautiful, and that really is what changes people. Because it's kind of like the bully situation. Like if you're a bully and you bully somebody else and they bully you back, like the bully feels satisfied because you've given them what they want. Whereas like if you go to a bully and you come to them with kindness and you like teach them something different, like they receive that, and they also feel embarrassed. So I don't know, I just think it's like so awesome how some people are out here like changing things in positive ways instead of like fighting fire with fire, because like that shit never works, and it ends up just turning really shitty people into like worse shitty people.
Absolutely.
And
I
it's
mean,
crazy. I hope I explained that properly.
No, you did.
Okay.
And I know what you mean. It's there. I completely understand what you're saying, and it's some. I mean, I would say that 90% of situations do actually call for that.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you have to. I mean, sometimes unfortunately you have to fight fire with fire.
For sure, because
that's
fucks out here.
Exactly. That's just that's just what happens. But for the most part, exactly what you're saying is what people are trying. That's what they're trying for. Is they're trying to, just show empathy to people that that aren't showing them empathy back, and just continuing to do that. And like, good Lord, fucking. Like all the power to them, because holy shit,
that's some strength.
I do not suffer fools easily, and holy shit, I would honestly like fucking I'll go off on a person before. I definitely have been in some like act first, think later situations, because it's just like you sometimes you just see red, especially on the road, because everyone on the road is fucking dumb.
Road rage is a serious thing.
And you know what? More recently, I'm trying to be more mindful of it, because like I would never go out of my way to like intentionally hurt someone or chase someone down or whatever. Like whatever. Like we've all flipped people off. We've all fucking honked at people, whatever. But even especially in this city, and probably in fact, I know all over the world.
Yeah.
The amount of road rage incidents right now are like skyrocketing, and they're out of control.
Shit.
Because it's because we've all been stuck in our houses for the last, 2+ years.
True.
And people are starting to just like go out again and like a lot more people are starting to go out again, and so the roads are more like a lot busier. Did you drive a lot when like COVID was happening?
I did not think of that at all.
No?
I was living in BC in that really small town at the time.
Yeah.
So I didn't really notice much, but I remember seeing the pictures back in Calgary of like how empty the streets were.
It was wild.
I'm just like, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, like you could get anywhere real easy, but it's like it didn't really matter because nothing was open, nobody was out. Like it kind of sucked.
Right.
Gas was super cheap. It was like 80 cents a liter. I loved it. You fill up my truck for super cheap and drive around for virtually nothing. But fuck, you couldn't do anything, couldn't go anywhere. It's so now that I feel there's this built up. It just feels like there's this built up like palpable like tension between people, and it's like, not to like make it pop culture-y, but like you've seen Ghostbusters 2.
Yep.
It's the fucking pink slime under New York in Ghostbusters 2 where it's like making everybody angry and fucking that's what it is. So I'm trying to be more mindful, especially when it comes to driving and like road rage stuff, where it's just like you got to let it go, because holy fuck. I had one instance where this was a while ago now, but like I had a car that cut me off on the highway as I was getting off at Balzac, and just the guy was driving like an asshole, and just like one of those super dangerous situations where he literally like he could have gotten in right behind me because there was no one behind me, but he purposely got right in front of me, and it was just like a simple like gave him like a little flash of the high beams to be like, come on dude, like
don't do that.
Yeah, just don't be an idiot. Like you could have honestly like you could have caused an accident. And cut over from the fast lane, like it was bad. Anyway,
people are crazy.
He full on was like brake checking me all the way up to the light. The light went green. He slammed on his brakes trying to get me to like ram into the back of him. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And then all the way down to like, like where the Balzac gas station is at the corner. Yeah. The whole, just being a shithead all the way down. I'm like, fuck this. So I turned off to go like the back way, like the dirt road to get over to 8th Street.
Yeah.
And he fucking turned around and chased me down, which I didn't even know until I had gotten like to the end of it was wild. I was like, okay, this dude is fucking pissed because I flashed my brights at him. It was ridiculous. I know, it was ridiculous. So...
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I got home, I was rattled. I didn't even drive straight home because I was like, fuck, I don't want this dude to know where I live.
No, yeah, good for you.
Pretty sure he lives in my neighborhood too, which
what
is
a loser.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a fucking absolute loser.
Ugh.
And it's like that kind of shit that's like it's that kind of stuff that's getting out of control. I mean, they literally had that poor woman in fucking Forest Lawn that not even that long ago that died, and I'm pretty sure that was like a road rage.
Right.
Remember, like they were
she
like
was just crossing the street.
Yeah, did she got shot or run over or something? And like, because it was like a road rage incident or something where they were shooting at each other. It was so fun. And I don't know if actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, it might have been a targeted thing. But anyway, she died as a direct result of something that like, okay, if it was drug related, still like crime's getting out of control. Cause it's like, fuck, like the fucking inflation and like people don't have jobs, and it's just like shit's gotten out of control. And ultimately who's to blame? Well, the government should be fucking working to figure something. I don't want to get political all again, but you know what I mean? It's just like, it just feels like there's this like crazy tension.
I agree. There is crazy tension, and it's all started with the whole, like, you're a vaxxer and you're a non-vaxxer. Like, it's all, I feel like tension has just been there ever since that. And it's just like never gone away.
Yeah, that definitely, I mean, that,
like, ugh,
that whole debate
is something else too.
Is completely something else, and it definitely it definitely hit a nerve with a lot of people, and broke up friendships. It broke up marriages. Like that fucked a lot of people up. Yeah. But ultimately, and that's right where they want us, because if you really think about it, like if we're especially with these big, like you look at Bezos and all the billionaires and stuff like that. If we're battling each other, we're not coming after the rich people and the,
Exactly.
that's why eat the rich is such a wonderful statement, because it's true.
It is.
I'm not talking about like, the millionaire, like fucking actors, even though when you say eat the rich, it's like people are like, well, that includes fucking, celebrities and stuff. And it's like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't fuck, because they're not even on the same plane as these fucking 1%ers that control, everything.
Like, you think that every popular movie star knowing each other, because they do. Like, think about every billionaire and all the world leaders they probably know, and all the really not even if it's world leaders, but like the right hand mans they know, because they're banks for people that need something. Like, it's crazy. And the whole like,
they're the true influencers.
Yeah, they are the true influencers. And it's just like the whole like water shortage in Africa. Like, can someone just fucking give them $1 million already and fix that fucking problem? Like, I don't know why it's like, why are we still pretending it's not going on? It's just like our indigenous. Like, someone just fucking fix it already. Like,
well,
what the fuck?
Well, and that's the thing too. You look at you look at all these like countries and all these fucking like even like whatever.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, we're like, you look at Canada and they're like, we're so in debt. To who? Ourselves? Like, who are we in debt to?
Yeah.
The
like,
aliens?
The
like, what the
fucking rock? Like, what the
Why the
fuck?
No, like, but honestly, when you are talking about you're working this job that you're putting your all into.
Yeah.
You're making $13 an hour. You're like, fuck, I can't even afford to live. Like, I cannot afford to pay rent. I can't afford to do it. You're probably eating fucking ramen at that point, because you're like, I can't afford to buy food.
No.
Like, you're not buying avocado toast and fucking like $6 Starbucks drinks all the time. No. Not on that kind of salary.
Not on that budget. No, holy
Maybe
fuck.
you are now, but you're like, fuck yeah, my avocado toast life. But honestly, when you're living that way and you're struggling to survive, why is it like that? Because the reality is like, we're all human beings, and like basic cost of living and basic living essentials, I mean, realistically, those are something that should be provided.
Yeah.
Those are something that should be like, you shouldn't have to feel like you're like, oh, do I, like my last however many dollars, do I put it towards like having a roof over my head, or having a fucking like something in my belly? Like, these are things that you should, or like, I guess as a woman, like, do I buy fucking tampons this month, or do I, just like simple shit that's like, so because that's another thing that, like, honestly, that should be free for all.
Agree.
Because it's like, that's a whole fucking debate. But it's like, honestly, not everything needs to be fucking monetized. We don't need to monetize homeless people. We don't need to monetize, mental health. We shouldn't be monetizing fucking dentistry. Like, these are all basic things that should be provided to us, not as an industry, not as a luxury. These are not luxury things. Yeah. Literally, your mouth health is something that's very important and should be provided to you as a Canadian citizen, from the moment you're born until, the end of, like, my wife's mother just had to have a tooth pulled, and she has to get like some other stuff done in her mouth. It's like $4,000. And as a pensioner, she's just kind of like, it's not like she's not uncomfortable in terms of like her living, because she did, make sure that she was able to retire them all out, whatever. But it's like, that's $4,000 that she wasn't, accounting for in her plan up until like, okay, the Grim Reaper comes. And it's like, that's a really morbid way of putting that. But honestly, it's one of those things where it's just kind of like, why is that not something that's, you know, I know so many people that I like went to high school with that they all have kids now. And like, there's a lot of them that are like, I can't even afford dentistry for myself, let alone for my fucking kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And like, being someone who's self-employed right now, like I would spend more money on health insurance not using it than I would, because I have a cleaning for my teeth booked on the 17th, and I had the luxury of growing up with like my father having great benefits, so I always had like massages and teeth, like that was like every 6 months, eyes, like that was just like my life, my whole life. And now it's like, holy fuck, can I be like 18 again? Because dad, hello God, because now going to the dentist is literally $700 just for me to go and get my fucking teeth cleaned,
which is,
and get new x-rays. Like, and I have really nice teeth. Like I couldn't imagine what, like, no, like that in $4,000 for, oh my God. Like,
I have horrible teeth. I didn't go to the dentist for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's the same. I have benefits through my wife, thankfully.
Amazing.
But it's like, I had better benefits when I was working at WestJet. Like I had incredible dentistry benefits, didn't take advantage of it at all.
Right.
And I should have. And now it's kind of like, you go like, I went like one visit and they're like, yeah, so you've used up your entire year's worth. I'm like, cool. See you next year, I guess. Like,
yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not, and I do like the fact that like, that's an industry that people enjoy going into because they make a lot of money doing it.
Right.
Because it is privatized or whatever, and that's fine. But I mean, it should be part of healthcare, and like healthcare, like going into healthcare should be something that pays you really well, and it's also like something that the government should be putting a lot of money. It's just fucking, I don't know.
I agree.
Fucking hate it.
It's
so
a lot.
OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, let's get off the political shit. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So you're okay. So like, honestly, going back to the OnlyFans thing, so when you say like you're working for yourself, like your entire, what you're making in life right now is all being derived from OnlyFans.
Yeah. So majority of it anyways. So I have my business license, and I got that back in February just because I needed that for like taxes and all that kind of stuff.
Totally.
And I have like an accountant and a lawyer. So it's like, I do run it like a legit business. And a lot of people are only into OnlyFans for like the fast money, and that's fine, but they do need to understand that it is an actual taxable income, and like you're very unintelligent if you're going to run it that way, because in a few years you're going to be in a lot of fucking trouble. So just don't do that. But yeah, I literally strictly, I've made 6 figures from OnlyFans, and
yeah, you don't have to tell me like how much money.
I'm not gonna. But
good for you.
Thank you. It's crazy, and like there's so much that goes into it that you can like profit off of. Like, I don't know, I feel like I've only scratched the surface, and that's also another really big problem with it is like once you start making content, and like once you like have ideas for content, it just kind of never ends, and then you feel like you have no time for all this content, or like you have all the time to make the content, but like I have content that I made months ago that I still haven't even posted because I just have so much content. But yeah, like with OF, I also make money from brand deals on TikTok, all that kind of stuff. So it's like modeling gigs, music video gigs. So OnlyFans is kind of like my bill payer. I would say like OnlyFans is like the full-time job, and then everything else is like the little side hustles. But yeah,
how often are you posting?
I post every single day.
Every day, okay.
Yeah, and so I'm at the top. So I'm a top 0.05 creator here in Calgary, and I've been there since, oh my God, February or January. Like I've stayed there for a while.
Regionally you're 0.005.
I don't know if it's regionally or if it's like of all OnlyFans, but like on OnlyFans, I am a top 0.05 creator, which is very fucking rare. And it's strictly because a lot of girls, when they get to like a platform of my size, they'll give their OnlyFans away to like managers or like these agencies that will run it for them.
Right.
But the secret
really?
Yeah. So when you're talking to like OnlyFans girls that are like your favorite influencers, you're not actually talking to them.
Like 95%. You're talking to some like fucking
You're talking to a weird man. Like you are sexting with a man. That is how it works. Yeah. Yep. And so that is why, and personally, this just like trickles down to me being like the person I am and like the values I have. Like I couldn't imagine having like someone spend 15 USD thinking that they're talking to me and then be talking to like some weird dude on the internet. Like, I value the fact that they get to talk to me because it's also like a way where I'm like, if you're my fan, like I don't usually answer like Instagram DMs or anything like that. So I'm like, if you're my fan and you want to talk to me. So I got lucky.
Yeah. So if they want to talk to you, you got to talk to you on.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, then you know for sure that they're paying you.
Exactly. And I will still like reach out to people and like I still answer all my messages, like everything. I still run everything by myself. Like I am all by myself and like like that's a huge thing that a lot of people are like, good for you. Like, wow, you can run everything by yourself. And then some people are like, why the fuck would you do that? Like, why don't you get other people to run it for you? And I'm like, because this is my passion. At the end of the day, this isn't just a business. This is something I enjoy doing. Social media is something I love. And I don't know. I like the creative and the editing process of it all. Like, that's why I like it. I'm not just here to be like, okay, I'm the face of this and I want 100 grand tomorrow. And yeah, that's it. Like,
right.
No, that's not how it is for me. That's not how I view this whole thing. So that's why I personally couldn't also be like, here, manager, take this and like run with it. I also just like, maybe it comes down to trust. I don't trust very many people, especially not in this industry. And I've given that trust to quite a few people who have stepped the fuck all over it. And so I just like decided I won't do that ever again. My mom was like, I would happily be your manager. And like, sure, I'd give it to my mom to take control of. But like, yeah, that some people might be like, oh, you can't trust anyone other than your mom. And I'm like, no, actually, I can't. Literally. It's a scary fucking world out here. Yeah. Like, so many people, again, are just in this industry for the money and they see that and that's all they want. And then it just turns into really shitty shit. And so I'm just like, no, I would like to protect what I have. I also am in it for such the long-term game where it's like, I don't want to be 30 doing OnlyFans, but my goal is like to have houses in multiple cities with this, so that I can just retire at like 30-ish when I want to be a mom. Like, totally. That's like my goal. So I think
good for you. That's a great goal to work towards.
Thank you. Because so many people are like, what are you going to be, like a grandma, like popping your hoo-ha on the internet? And I'm like, no.
Yeah, but even if you were, who gives a fuck?
Exactly,
because
right?
If that's what you want, if that's what your passion is and that's what you are happy doing, then fuck it. Who gives a fuck? Because there's plenty of women that are doing that.
That's the thing. So many people are like so judgmental about things and I'm just like, yeah, but you're judgmental because you're sitting in your 9 to 5 looking at me living literally my dream life right now and you're just so fucking jealous that you can't do it too. And one thing that I have been getting a little bit frustrated with recently is I love when people reach out to me about OF and like questions for it, especially girls. I love it so much. But one thing that I've been protecting is my knowledge with it because I've learned my lesson where I gave that knowledge away to a few people and they just completely took advantage of it. And then also, one thing I am like flattered of when I see is like when I see other OnlyFans girls using my marketing tactics, because I'm just like, I know they're good marketing tactics. So it's like, it's fine that you want to copy them. But in this industry, like you can't really get butthurt over like people like copying you or like taking your style of things because you are on the internet. You can't copyright an idea and people do have the right to do whatever. It's just like, I feel flattered because I'm like, you obviously couldn't think of your own idea, so you needed to take mine and that's fine. It works. So like,
totally
have fun with that, you know? But it's also just like, if you took information from me, let me know. Let me help you out more. Let's like collab or take information from me and don't forget about me. Like still contribute to my content as well, you know? Like don't just like take.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like there's too much. And I was talking I've talked about this with a few different people because it's like in a lot of industries you find that where there's this, and we talked about it earlier, there's that lack of sense of community because there's so much competition and it's so like much. And it's like, okay, they're sure like friendly competition is fine.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
But when there's this lack of respect and outright, I'm going to completely, co-opt everything that you've done for my own thing and not give you any sense of, credit or whatever. It's not like... I would assume that you're not looking for someone to be like, yeah, like pay me for fucking the tactics I'm using or what, like,
no.
If anything, you're probably just looking for like, hey, like, I'm really glad that I was able to help you out, and like, or whatever. And just, like, because in those instances, that's where you would be like, all right, like, maybe we can collaborate. Let's grow this shit together.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be this whole fucking like, I'm me versus you, you versus me. Like, we're both trying to like build it separately, because ultimately you're far stronger together than you are separately.
Absolutely. 100%. And that's why I use the example of like one of my best friends that I met. She, at the beginning of this year, like, she reached out to me, and I was just a model for her, and I had no idea we were going to end up like just jiving on such like a great level. Whereas like me and her got along so well, and like within like the third time of us hanging out, I like introduced her to like some influencers who like helped jumpstart her career, who she doesn't talk to anymore, but like she literally just messaged me one day and was just like she didn't have to do this, but she was just like, thanks for like just bringing me in that room and like introducing me to those people, because like it changed a lot of things for her. And like that kind of acknowledgement is just so cool, because like I wasn't expecting anything from her. I didn't need her to say thank you. I wasn't doing that to like help her out. There was no ulterior motive for me at all. It was just like the sheer her seeing through that and being like, thank you. Like that meant a lot. And now me and her are like, she's opening her business, I already have mine. Like, it's crazy who you choose and like who you do help. Like, it can change some people's lives. And that's why I'm like, even though I've been taken advantage of in so many different ways so many times, like, I'm gonna continue to not be open to people and give them opportunities, but just being very much more
that's
like,
really
careful,
good, because that is really good of you, because I definitely can see how that would harden someone and really turn them off to helping people in a lot of regards, because honestly, it fucking sucks because I don't know how many followers you have on TikTok.
On TikTok, I have 411,000.
Holy fuck. Okay. I thought it was followers. Like 200 something.
Yeah.
And then on Insta, I know you have like 29. And like, those aren't small numbers. Like, those are they're for social media. They're pretty, they're like average in terms of like audience size, but they're still good. Like, in terms of like what you're building, those are great numbers, and those are absolutely wonderful starting off points for being approached by like brands that want to work with you, as well as approaching certain brands that you want to work with to be like, hey, like, is there something we could do here together, because this is what I have as a following. There's also, I totally see how there's people that would be reaching out, seeing like dollar signs in those numbers, being like, oh shit, she's got fucking 400,000 on TikTok. All right. Like, how do we leverage that into, how do we leverage that to our benefit? Whereas like, no, anything that any kind of sponsorships are one thing. If a company is approaching you to like sponsor something, or they want to sponsor you and they're paying you to promote their product, fine, whatever. That's great. And that's sponsorships are something that like, they're iffy sometimes, because it's like, you don't want to be promoting something that you don't actually believe in yourself. And I know we've obviously seen like influencers and stuff like that run into scenarios where they're promoting garbage products, whatever. But it's like, okay, it's a company paying you to promote their product. That it is what it is. It's advertising. Partnerships are different. If somebody's looking to like enter into a partnership with you, it should be mutually beneficial.
Totally.
So good on you for, having the wherewithal to like learn the lessons from, the people and whatever that burned you, but also still being open to and willing to work with people, still, because like I could see how that would turn somebody off.
Yeah.
And it really, I mean, ultimately that just comes down to your vetting process at that point. So it's like, how do you, because that ultimately working for yourself, you're going to build that process yourself. So it's like, okay, you're looking at it like, okay, how do I vet? How am I vetting people? How am I going through what boxes are they ticking in terms of like, do I want to work with this person? Do I want to come on their podcast and fucking sit and chat with them? That kind of thing. So it's like, I'm glad I ticked the boxes in some regard. That part makes me happy. But
Absolutely.
no, I'm glad that you're not like turned off. I'm glad that you're not like closing yourself off, because that in turn would, you never know if there's another like little Lexi out there that is kind of like,
right?
How do I do that? How do I live my dreams and travel 4 times a month? And like, I don't want to sit at my 9 to 5. And ultimately the fact that as long as they're doing it for the right reasons, like you're going to be a great, asset for that.
Yeah.
I think, which is fucking rad.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
100%.
Yeah. It's fun. It's the journey that I don't know, maybe we'll start an influencer marketing agency. I'm just kidding. But
no, but like, honestly, why not?
Yeah. Who knows? Honestly. Like,
I'm sure that's a thing that already exists somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, why couldn't you start your own?
True. Yeah.
Why not, right? Fucking launch the careers of the next wave, because like, who knows?
Be their new manager.
Yeah. Have you started doing Be Real? Have you?
I haven't. What the fuck even is it?
Okay, that makes me feel way older, because like, holy fuck,
I know what it is, but like, I don't know like why. Like, I know that it's like, it takes a picture of the front and the back, and then it also is like you're only connected with your friends or something. Like, I have no idea.
So my understanding of it and the way it was pitched to me was because a friend of mine was working he worked a bunch of festivals this summer.
Okay, yeah.
He didn't do Chasing Some, but he works for a company that does branding or something at fucking anyway, he goes to a lot of festivals.
Love it.
And he said that they had clients come out from Montreal, and they're like very like with it people. And like we're on the TikTok thing. You're further along on the TikTok thing than I am. But like, he's like, oh yeah, they're already on the next wave, like the new app. And he was like telling me, he's like, yeah, it's called Be Real. And I'm like, what the like, that's a dumb fucking name, but it actually kind of makes sense, because I guess the way it works is you download the app, you set up your account or whatever, and then it'll notify you. Like, it'll send you a notification when it's your window to like take your photo. And I think you have like a certain amount of time to get that photo. And then otherwise, once your window closes, you can't look at other people's photos for the day. You can't connect with any of your friends.
Shit.
Yeah. Like, it kind of like, it locks you out of the app for the day if you don't make your social media window. And it also like notifies your friends that you're a fucking loser and you can't, like that you didn't.
Shit.
Yeah. So, we both, when we were talking about it, it was like, okay, like that sounds kind of cool, but it also like, we were kind of talking about the downfall of it, where it's like the downfall of like the mental health side, where it's like, okay, well, if let's say you got super addicted to doing Be Real, and then what if you let that consume you and your entire day was like spent kind of waiting, like just constantly looking at your phone and like waiting and having something like curated and like ready to go in terms of like, oh shit, there it is. Like, now you can take your Be Real, and it's like this like perfect moment when it's what it's supposed to be, is like these
Be
real moments. Right. So
shit.
Yeah. So I mean, that was our concern that we kind of put out there, but I mean, that's a very real concern, because people do get addicted to social media, and they get addicted to, again, this is why I wanted to talk to you, because I feel like what you present is very authentic and very, it's curated, but you're also not, You're not putting a filter over your entire life.
Yeah.
So, but a lot of people do that. They get really addicted to only showing the good that happens, and the you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I feel like that could also cause problems with like your mental health, but also just like friend groups. Like if you're like friends are all posting this thing and you can only see it for 24 hours, and then like the next day they're all talking about it at school or work or whatever, and they're like, yeah, Sally posted this like blah blah picture.
Well,
and
I think you can see it beyond 24 hours.
Oh, you can.
But like,
it's just
you
that's
just
your
can't.
time to post.
Yeah, that's your time to post.
Got you.
I think it like
Okay.
Yeah, I think it like
I
builds it
understand.
into your feed, but you can't like
Yeah.
until your time comes up again, you can't use the app or what. I don't know how
It's crazy, but still, it's definitely gonna affect mental health.
Well, yeah, because it's like
that's so
that
fucked.
goes back to the whole like kids are mean. So it's just like you have like these 11-year-old kids that are like, Sally didn't make her fucking be real today, and it's like suddenly she like feels like a piece of shit because she didn't fucking take the photo in time. Like, it's just.
So weird.
It's very weird, and it's kind of, I don't know. Social media is the worst thing that ever happened, which is ironic that like, you know,
right? I know.
that's your job and that's the job that I'm building. But honestly, it really is. It's like one of the worst things that ever happened to society was the amount of, or the amount that we're able to connect with each other. Are you getting bored?
No, right? I'm like,
oh, that's enough. That's enough talking for today.
No, but it absolutely is. Like, it's the only way you're able to, what's it called? Like, compare, like, it's the only way I've been able to know that some things exist in the world. Otherwise, I would have had no idea. Like, or lifestyles. I would have never been like, I want to attain that lifestyle without knowing it existed. You
like
know?
what?
Like the super rich, wealthy, crazy lifestyle. Cause like I grew up in a wealthy family, like that for sure. But my parents never wanted to buy brand new trucks or like cars. Cause my dad's like, let's go on a vacation. Like I'd rather do that. So like I never grew up in like a flashy environment. And so I'd see that on social media and I was just so infatuated by it. I just thought that was a life I want to live. And so,
but that's the fallacy of social media.
And it's not
because it's not all glitz and glamour.
No, it's not. And they pretend like once you get the house, once you get like I'm living in my dream apartment that I'm like I can't fucking believe I live there. But like it's
which
like,
congrats by the way.
Thank you.
It looks I've seen like the couple photos that you posted. It looks the view is amazing.
I love it so freaking much. It's my favorite part. But it's like yeah, like I have the apartment and then I'm like, okay, on to the next thing. You know, it's just like, but I'm also not because I'm at this point in my life where like I am just so happy with where I am right now that I like
enjoy it.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not trying to change anything. I'm just trying to like do everything I need to do to keep it the same and like a little bit more to keep growing. But like I was trying to change my life for so long for like a year and a half that I'm like, I just need to chill.
Well, that's good.
Just be here.
That's so good that you're that's the headspace that you're in right now, because honestly, so many people they spend their entire lives like chasing this fucking imaginary dragon. It's like fucking heroin, and they're like, and that you always need bigger, better, whatever, and it's why they release a new iPhone every single year and they sell like hotcakes, and
they're the same
for the most part
for the majority like there's like very minuscule battery like modifications,
technology's
like that,
moving
right?
forward, and like there are absolutely like sure the MacBook that I have, if I bought the new MacBook, it would be a huge step up. For sure. But the problem is, it's just like my MacBook works perfectly fine. I'll use it for another like 6 years. Yeah. But I get tricked into thinking, like I trick myself because I also have ADHD. So I'm always, we all have ADHD now. I constantly want more, and like even with all this shit that's on the walls, like I trick myself into thinking like, you know what, I need more figures on the wall. I need more fucking VHS tapes, dude. It's a dead medium. Stop buying fucking VHS tapes. What's wrong with you? I said to what is it, Brent Butt, who I had on the pod, he's the guy who created Corner Gas. I had him on the podcast when I was in Vancouver in July, and I said to him that I was like, I'm an avid VHS collector as well. And he goes, man, you're really on the forefront of that medium. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, right? Because it's obviously it's true. It's just like, so now I'm kind of like, but it's like that thing where I'm content with where I'm at in my life.
Yeah.
In terms of like, you know, we have our house, we have our dogs. We're very, my wife wants to travel more. I'm perfectly fine kind of staying put because I spent, I worked in Fort Mac for 5 years, week in, week out. So I was constantly flying and what felt like traveling all the time. So for me right now, I'm kind of like, I'm perfectly content just like being grounded and like, you know, staying at home for a while. And like, eventually, I do want to, I personally, I want to do a cross country road trip in the States. I want to drive down and then like drive across the States. Cause like, that's why I have a Mustang. Like, that's why I bought that car, was to like do a trip. Yeah. Do a giant road trip in that car. And so
love it.
You know, like those are the kind of things that I want to do. And like, like make content along the way. And like, I love going and like hunting for cool shit to add to my collection. I love that. Like it to some people, it's you know, it's not their jam, and that's fine, but it's like that's my comfortability right now. So that's really good that that's your headspace, where you're just kind of like you are moving forward in terms of like growing your business and what you're doing and elevating the content that you're making and all of that. That's really good, but you're also appreciative of like where you've gotten to, and you're enjoying it while you're in the moment. Because honestly, like fuck, like you're gonna wake up 5 years from now, or you're gonna wake up when you're 25 and you're gonna be in, well, you specifically, you're gonna be in you're gonna be so much further ahead than where you are right now, that you're gonna be like, holy fuck, like how did I get here? Like it's gonna go by like that. So enjoy it while you're, and I'm saying it makes me sound so fucking old and like, I call it get off my lawn, but like, honestly, like, enjoy it while you're in the moment, because fuck, that's all you can do. I would kill to be 21 again, right? Honestly, I would kill to be 21 right now with the all the gear that I have and like the knowledge and shit that I have. Like I remember the first time I worked on a film set, I walked into that situation thinking I knew more about filmmaking and what it takes to like make a good story. Like I just thought that I knew more than I actually did, and it was one of the most humbling things in the world. And like that experience wound up being like literally, I was working on Hell on Wheels, and it was literally hell on earth for the most part, but I would never trade that experience for anything because it was so valuable. Every lesson I learned working was so valuable. Every person I met, like one of my best friends is somebody I met who still works in the film industry, and like I vicariously get to know insider shit from like film sets that film around here vicariously through him, which is great.
There you go.
But and without having to actually work on them, but like also I learned so much about you know, just how to even just set etiquette and like certain like organizational tips for like storing gear. Like I've like you walk down here and you're like, holy shit, like you have a legit studio. You haven't even seen the other side of the wall with like all the gear and stuff. And like my favorite part of the studio, where I'm like, I have everything labeled and I could have like an industry person walk down here and be like, oh shit, I know how to find everything in your studio. And I'd be like, exactly. Fire. So that kind of stuff like that's where I'm at in my life, where I'm like, I'm really excited about where I am, but I'm also trying to enjoy it. Yeah. Because I know how quickly I know how quick life goes, and it's like the last 6 months have gone by in a blink of an eye, and it's like I can't believe it's already September.
I know. I can't fathom it. I don't understand. That's why I also really love journaling, because I've just been like, whether it's a good or bad thing, like I just like write it down as like a memory book, because I feel like I haven't been able to like process or remember things. And I'm just like, I feel like the only way I could do that. Sorry. I don't know why I yawn so much. I used to get in trouble in college for yawning all the time. I think it's my diaphragm. I just don't breathe enough.
Yeah.
So my body's like, Alexis, like, breathe, because you're not breathing. And I'm like, I'm taking short breaths, but I don't know why I do that.
And
but
then it forces you to like.
Yeah, it forces me to like open up my body and breathe.
Yeah, because you're not tired. You're like fucking wild.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm here, I'm listening. It's just I don't know what the fuck is wrong with me. But yeah, I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Darn it.
Oh, you were fucking. Oh God.
Right? See, the yawn took us both out.
Fuck. What were we talking about?
I don't know.
I was talking about being in the moment and enjoying it. Oh, how fast time's gone.
Oh yeah, time is crazy. Yeah, and that's why I've been
journaling.
That's why I've been journaling. Yeah, and I just like write down. It's just it's also fun to just like look back and see how you were feeling, and like I also just wanted to make sure that I was journaling in this process of my life because this is such a huge avenue of change.
Yes,
and like mentally, I've just been thinking things differently. So I was like, I want to write those down, just to, like run back to like how I feel and like remember to be grateful for this like experience because. Excuse me. I feel like in this point in time, so many people are like, when their dreams are coming true, which this is like literally my dream job. You tend to like chase other things and like want all this other shit. And I just constantly like write shit down to be like, no, like you're doing great. Like we're okay.
Yeah.
We're good.
Well,
stop fucking worrying.
You're
right.
My God. That's the ADHD part of you. That's just like you want more and like you distract yourself
all the time.
Yeah. No,
I'm always distracted. And I'm always like, it's actually like bad. It's gotten to the point where like I am working like 24 hours a day and like I'm worried that if I don't answer this person, then like I'm gonna fail at this point. It's like, no, you actually sometimes need to step back from something because you're sometimes oversaturating it. Like relax. So
okay. Because I often put myself in I make myself feel guilty for not, because I literally like I work out of my house. Yeah. So I make myself feel guilty a lot of the time when I'm like, I just want to sit down and watch TV or whatever, and I'm sitting upstairs when I know that there's like stuff down here that I could be working on. Yeah. So there's always that part of me in the back of my head that's like, dude, like granted, I mean, some days I'm just like, I don't want to do anything. Some days I do a lot. Some days I do kind of the bare minimum, whatever I'm kind of feeling. And ultimately you kind of have to be okay with both because you cannot overwork yourself. So yeah, that's good that you have that, built into your thought process and because your mental health is worth more than, any amount of money a brand is going to fucking pay you. Exactly. Also, if you don't answer them right away, well, chances are they're still going to want to talk to you the next day. Right. And that's the thing. And it's also like, that's what I've been trying to just like tell myself is like, because there will always be a message for me to answer. There will always be someone trying to talk to me. And every single day I'm like, okay, I just need to answer my Instagram messages. And then literally an hour later I get 20 more. And then I'm like, fuck, I just need to answer these Instagram messages. And then I'm like, fuck, wait, no, I'm going to get 20 more. And so it's just like, that's the kind of process that I'm in where it's like my work is never actually ever done. There's no, like, I handed in this to my boss. This paper was due at Friday at this time. Once this is done, I can go fucking party, rage my ass off, not worry about a single thing. No, I could work every hour of the day, all hours of the day. Yep. And that's why it's so difficult that's the part that I'm really working on right now is like, good. Trying to segregate, and luckily there's people in my life who are like, Lex, like you don't need to work right now, like you don't need to worry about that right now. Balance is very important, and so that's what I'm learning because you're gonna burn yourself out really fucking quick, and that's what I don't want to be happening. So that's why I'm like taking these vacations, and I think when I go to Vancouver, like I'm not gonna take any pictures, and I'm literally gonna just like spend the weekend in Vancouver, just hanging the fuck out. Good. But I'm also terrified to do that. Like I am literally horrified. No, but challenge yourself. I know, and that's because honestly, how long are you in Vancouver for? For only 3 days. Okay. Yeah. So like a Friday to Sunday? Yeah. Okay. So I mean, obviously, like you're not going to turn your phone off, but like but just challenge yourself to like I'm just make a post. Like I'm stepping away from Instagram for 3 days or whatever. Yeah. I'm, like OF, whatever it is. Yeah, you're right. You be intentional about it. And because you're fucking human, like everyone, and I mean, regardless of whether or not you actually post that you're stepping away for a couple of days, you know, chances are like most people aren't even really going to notice.
True. You're right.
You know
and
what I
like,
mean?
I think what you saying, that is such fucking good advice, and I am gonna take your advice on like just being like, hey homies, like nothing against you guys, just need a little mental health break. Like
You don't
just
even
need
have to
a
go
second.
that far. Just be like, nope.
Yeah.
Hey, like you don't even have to like you don't even have to preface it as like it's nothing against you. It's like literally no, it's I am going to Vancouver. I am shutting down the social media machine for the weekend. Catch you all on Monday.
Right.
Emails can get responded to on Monday.
Yeah.
I think from the sounds of it, with what you have going on and for how big it's getting, I wouldn't completely close yourself off to like eventually adding help, because again, like you're 21 now. Yeah. You have like all the energy in the world. You can work 24 hours a day. That's wonderful. But at a certain point, it's really going to start to wear on you, and like you won't be able to respond to every single message, because they're only sure there's 20 today. Okay. There's 100 tomorrow. Oh shit. Okay. Now there's 1,000. Yeah. Like you're going to need some help, and I wouldn't want you to view that as like, oh fuck, like I'm going back on something that I said I wouldn't do, or you know what I mean? Because that's I mean, hiring someone or you know to help you isn't that's not a bad thing.
No, not at all, and that's great advice.
I get what you're saying. And that isn't to like, I'm not saying that like, yeah, you should totally hand your OF off to like a manager. That's not what I'm saying.
I know.
It's about definitely making sure that the social media machine is not eating you alive because you're so dedicated to, you know, wanting to do this yourself, because ultimately, I mean, fuck, you've done so much up to this point as yourself, and like you should be really fucking proud of what you built up to this point.
Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for coming and doing this. This was so fun. This was actually such an incredible chat. Like, holy fuck.
I agree.
You're an awesome person too.
Thank you. You're an awesome person.
I do what I can.
You gave me some great advice. Literally, if you guys like come in like, I'm taking that fucking weekend off. That I'm serious. Like that really like actually reassured me. You should. Thank you.
I'm glad. I'm glad I was able to reassure you, because like honestly, taking 3 days off from your social media doesn't mean everyone's going to walk away. You're not going to lose any. And I mean, I'm sure you look at your analytics. I mean, you have followers coming in, you have followers coming out. Yeah. If you lose fucking 50 bot followers, who gives a fuck? Yeah. Because you're probably going to gain. Yeah. No. And like, you should be, I mean, do that, as often as you see fit, because honestly, the more you show up for yourself and the more you give yourself the breaks that you need, the more you're going to be able to put into what you're doing.
You're right. And the more energized you come back to it on the Monday, and you're like, let's fucking go.
Yeah. Because it was funny. My wife sent me this thing that really kind of helped me just put things in perspective. And it was, I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was something about giving yourself the room for like silence. So I'm very much a person that needs to be constantly entertained, or constantly. I always, I mean, for the last, I can't even tell you how long, I literally watch The Office every day, but I don't watch it. I put it on and it's on in the background. And if I'm not watching The Office, I'm either watching a movie or you know what I mean? Like, so I have something that's occupying my brain or the space that I'm in. Yeah. That is, you know, that it's providing some sort of, well, in the case of The Office, it's providing comfort. Yeah. Because I don't need to watch the show in order to know what's happening, because I've watched it so many fucking times. Literally, I watch it every day. I love that. I go to bed Like I'll put my AirPods in and it's
Yeah.
like The Office because it helps me sleep.
Love it.
So she sent me this because it was like, you need to be able to find space to give yourself over to like silence and almost like meditate, because those are moments when you're going to have fresh ideas, and you're going to you're going to give yourself room to expand your creativity and come up with new things. And that's why, for the most part, I'm the most creative, and I'm the most, I come up with like a lot of my best ideas when just before I'm about to go to bed. And if I'm not in those, times where I'm not listening to anything or whatever, and I'm just trying to like go to sleep and calm my mind down, that's usually when I come up with, some pretty epic shit.
That's fire.
It usually just fucking dissipates in the ether because I don't write it down before I fall asleep. But sometimes I do write it down.
Smart.
And it's very true. So yeah, giving yourself the room to be able to, step away from what you're building will in turn bolster it, because you'll be able to come back, like you say, more energized. And you'll have some fresh fucking ideas.
True that.
So
fucking right.
No, I'm glad you're going to take that advice and take a few days off and
take the freaking break. Otherwise, this will never work.
Holy shit. All right. So for this episode of This Will Never Work, I'm Lincoln.
And my name's Lexi.
Let's try again tomorrow. Thanks.
See you guys
Bye,
later.
guys. Bye.
Sometimes the irony of trying to write a theme song for a show called This Will Never Work gets the best of you, and, well, it sucks. So, welcome.